Hi everybody, it's Kyle here. I'm here to talk about episode 3 of Halo, the television series. Overall, I think the episode was a pretty good episode, and I thought my most fascinating thing that I really connected towards was the Master Chief realization of his emotions. And I think that the sequence where Master Chief in the episode he takes out the inhibitor chip that inhibits his emotions and he proceeds to go to a concert on the planet Reach, I found to be such a moving sequence, akin to a Blade Runner, Blade Runner 2049, that type of science fiction transcendence of the genre, where you're actually seeing what science fiction is about, which is about people, human beings, dealing with issues in science itself, and these science fiction concepts relating to human beings and who we are as a species. Even if, like, you have a science fiction movie about aliens, what the aliens struggle with is related to what we struggle with as a community of fellow humans. I think that Pablo Schreiber is giving one hell of a performance as Master Chief, and I am so torn between him not being in the suit, which I really think is both a strength and a detriment to the actual story, because it's a strength because Pablo Schreiber is a terrific actor. I saw him the other night in Michael Bay's 13 Hours. I didn't even know he was in it, and he's just able to really do a variety of things and has such range as an actor. But in this role, he really feels like the soldier that John 117 is, and I love the way he plays him. And I love the struggle he has as a character and how he's trying to deal with what is it like to actually have emotions, what is it like to be a soldier and learn that you were being bred for war and your family was eradicated and your planet was eradicated as almost like a cover-up. I think it offers a variety of opportunities for an actor. The detriment of this is that I am so used to seeing Master Chief in his suit and with his helmet on, and I was listening to it was the Halo Declassified after show they do, and I was listening to Pablo Schreiber's interview where he mentions how this is a different medium. It's not a video game. You're not you're not portraying the character. You're not playing Master Chief. You kind of need to have his helmet taken off. And I do agree with him, but at the same time, I just wish his helmet was on more, because Master Chief, I get it, like, his character doesn't need to have his helmet on, but there was never a video game of Halo where he had his helmet off. So his helmet was his face, just like Darth Vader. You can have the prequel trilogy where Darth Vader doesn't have a helmet on because that's the prequel trilogy and Darth Vader isn't Darth Vader yet. In this circumstance, he kind of, I feel, needs the helmet because that is who Master Chief is. That's how I connect to the character. So at the one hand, I love Pablo's performance. On the other hand, I want the helmet on. And it didn't help that this was an entire episode where he didn't have the helmet on. At least the last episode, he barely had the helmet on, but at least he had it on for 1 minute of the show. With this one, it was like he didn't have it on at all. He had it with him, but he didn't have it on his head. The big thing about this episode, though, was Cortana. And I was very curious to see how they would portray Cortana. I've been curious since the trailers, and even the last couple of episodes I've been saying, oh, I cannot wait to see where Cortana fits into this. And she comes in, and a bit of a different way of using Cortana in this series than they did in the Fall of Reach book and in the video games. but I'm liking what they're doing with Cortana. And what I really like what they're doing with Cortana is they're kind of moving away from the traditional science fiction type show that we're used to and we've seen before, and they're kind of asking some new ideas. What happens if you have an AI programmed in the exact same way, kind of, as Master Chief as programmed? These are two people that have been trained. Well, I shouldn't say people. Cortana is an AI, but these are two individuals that have been trained by Dr. Halsey to function and serve her purpose, to serve the UNSC, but they may both be facing their own decisions. And I love how Cortana is a bit sarcastic. She has her own personality, and I really love how there's one scene in the episode where she's kind of conflicted with the choices she has to make, and the people overseeing her, ahead of her, Halsey and the other scientists, they are telling her to do something, and she's like, but this is against protocol, I don't know how I feel about it, but they're telling her to do it. And it's in the same way, same type of situation that the Master Chief is in. I think that we're going to see Cortana and Master Chief have to help each other. I like their relationship so far. I will say that I think the design of Cortana, a lot of people had issue with in the trailer. Even I had issue with. Not because I didn't think it looked good, but I just felt funny that they used human flesh in the design of Cortana when in the game she is clearly an AI with blue or purple streaks of light emanating from her body. In this, though, I did like how it looked like, if you look at her from a distance, it is blue. It's the detail that when you look up closely, you see the more human-esque responses. And it's also cool because it felt like a real AI. It didn't feel like an actor playing the role. It felt like this could be a real AI that we could see 30, 40 years from now. And I think it was really, really cool. I think that the other supporting characters are pretty good. Another criticism I will have with the show is in regards to the Kwan character, because this is a girl that was introduced in the first episode, and I'm a little nervous that she's going to have this side plot. And I can understand, okay, she's like a main character in the show, but what's the purpose of her in this show? It made Master Chief change his mind and do something by having her in the scene and having him ordered to kill her. But this whole plot about her having to go back to save her people on Madrigal, and the one actor from The Dark Knight Rises being the overlord of Madrigal, I don't really know how I feel. This is probably my least favorite part of this whole show, is just this Kwan subplot, because I think Master Chief, I'm into his story, I'm into the Halsey stuff, Cortana stuff. And then we get to where this episode began, and it began with the character, I still don't know her name. I think, is it Blessed One? Is that what they're calling her? But she is a human character that was adopted by the Covenant, and the episode opened with this heart-wrenching sequence of these two adorable children. Clearly they were like, experiencing what it's like to be in love for the first time, and they had no idea what, romance novels are like, and they're reading this book, and the boy says, apparently when it says to kiss someone, you have to kiss the person in real life. And it was this adorable scene, and then the boy is killed, and the girl in the sequence, turns out to be the girl that was adopted by the Covenant. And the boy wasn't killed by elites or the Covenant, he was killed by humans. So you can see that she has her own issues against the humans and humanity because of this, and the Covenant adopted her. This goes against, the original Covenant type, like the original Covenant form of like their rules. this kind of is, I think, what I've heard from people is that the Covenant aren't really supposed to care about humanity. I've seen this in the video games and stuff, but I think that it is kind of cool to see, though, that they adopted a child, so I don't know where that's going to go. And, I don't know, like, I feel like this is a show where I had a lot of, like, moments where I'm saying to myself, oh, this could go really bad, like, this could go off the walls, and it might not be as good of a show as it could have been, but I'm still hooked in it. I'm still hoping that Master Chief gets his helmet. I'm still hoping that, that he has his helmet on for a longer time. I'm hoping we see more action in this series, because so far we had 2 episodes where not much action has occurred. And when you're talking about Halo, a first-person shooter video game that is pure action, I need to see that in the show. There's another thing about it, too, that I was a little bit concerned about this episode. I'm like, we're not really seeing too many of the alien species. We've still really, given the Covenant angle, we've only really seen the elites. We've seen the prophets, and this episode teased us the hunters, but they also referenced the grunts, so I'm happy. I need to see the grunts. I need to see the jackals. I need to see the brutes. I need to see our trademark Covenant characters, because when you play the video games, they are always there. And this is, I guess, around the time that humanity is starting to deal with the Covenant threat for the first time, so it's understandable maybe that they haven't really encountered these aliens yet. But I need to see these characters that I'm so used to seeing in the games, especially the grunts, because I believe in the video games it's the elites we see for the first time, so that makes sense. But the grunts are usually always the first ones you see deployed. So I really want to see what the grunts look like and how they act, because the elites so far, the character design and the special effects have been amazing and just impeccable. But overall, I really I'm enjoying this show. I wouldn't say that I love this show. I think it could be better. I think that it has a long ways to go, and it has a bit of a rocky path ahead, because if they keep on the trajectory that it's going on, it might not, coalesce to something really great at the end. But if they continue to improve on each episode, build upon the characters, build upon the story, build upon the themes that they are exploring, then I think that this show may actually really, end as a whole really well. So, have you seen Halo? What did you think of episode 3? Let me know in the comments below, and thank you for watching this video. Have a great day, and please like and subscribe. Peace.